Leftists are naturally miserable, and I know why.
Mr. Reagan.
All right, before we start, I've got a great new sponsor for the show, Gold Co. If you want to diversify your portfolio, protect your savings, safeguard your retirement, try investing in gold with Gold Co. Go to MrReaganLikesGold.com or call 844-696-GOLD or click on the link in the description below.
Hey guys, real quick, please take a second to check out my new channel. It's called Strange Tales. These are 5-minute true stories from history. I really want your feedback. Let me know what you guys think. If you got any ideas how to make this show better, I really want this new channel to be a huge success. So your input is super important. Please subscribe to the channel to give it a boost and maybe share it with some friends. The link is in the description below. Thanks ahead of time. You guys are, of course, awesome. All right, so you want to know something insane? The richest leftists in America, the ones making over $100,000 a year, are exactly just as happy, the same level of happiness, as the poorest conservatives making under $30,000 a year. That's not hyperbole. That is from a massive 60,000 person survey that just came out, and it gets worse for leftists. Conservative women are 3 times more likely to be satisfied with their lives than leftist women. Even gay conservatives are happier than straight leftists. Now, when Nate Silver, the guy who conducted this survey, analyzed this data, his first instinct was to claim that leftists are unhappy because, get this, they care about the injustices in the world. Give me a break. That's what we call propaganda. Christians have been evangelizing since Roman times in order to ameliorate suffering. Conservatives see just as much injustice in the world. We just propose real solutions instead of fantasy ones. Now here's what's actually happening, and this is why my dad always says leftists lack common sense. The brutal truth is that leftists are miserable because they're fighting against suffering and inequality that does not exist. They desperately want to be 1960s civil rights activists, but that fight is over. They're tilting at windmills. Think about this. The most discriminated against group in America for the past 40 years has been straight white Christian men. There was literally a Supreme Court case that was adjudicated just recently that actually proved this. The so-called marginalized groups that leftists are always whining about, they have actually been systemically advantaged for decades. But leftists cannot accept this reality because it destroys their entire fantasy fiction worldview. And that is at the core of all of this. Conservatives accept reality as it is. Leftists live in a fantasy world that conflicts with reality. And this creates a perpetual cognitive dissonance. It's this constant cycle of being owned by conservatives on basically every political issue. Look at these numbers. In this 60,000 person survey, conservatives scored 68 on mental health, while leftists scored 53. That's not a small gap. That is catastrophic. Among those reporting excellent mental health, conservatives outnumbered liberals 51% to 20%. Among those reporting poor mental health, leftists outnumbered conservatives 45% to 19%. And this gap exists across every single category. Married leftists are less happy than unmarried conservatives. Educated leftists are less happy than uneducated conservatives. Rich leftists are just as miserable as poor conservatives. And things get even more interesting, and I'll get into all that in one moment. First, of course, I have to talk about my amazing sponsor.
The news does not stop, does it? We have got a credit downgrade for the good old US of A nationwide debt problem that's spiraling out of control. And we're watching billionaires and central banks stockpile gold. In fact, billionaire investor Ray Dalio just made a $319 million bet on gold. And did I mention that gold has broken another record, climbing past $3,500 an ounce? I still remember when it was under $2,000. It wasn't that long ago. Look, it seems clear to me that now is the time to learn more about how gold and silver can help you. So reach out to my partners over at Gold Co. They're a great company that I trust, an award-winning organization. They've got over 7,000 5-star ratings, and they've helped me out tremendously. Visit MrReaganLikesGold.com to get their free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll also learn about their unlimited bonus silver offer. It's a great way to get started. Go to MrReaganLikesGold.com or call 844-696-GOLD.
Leftist women are in absolute crisis. Only 12% of leftist women age 18 to 40 feel completely satisfied with their lives. Conservative women of the same age, 37%. That's not just a gap, that's a chasm. Leftist women are nearly 3 times more likely to report experiencing loneliness. And it just gets worse with each generation. Columbia University found that conservative teenagers are significantly happier than their leftist peers. And get this, leftist boys are more depressed than conservative girls. That suggests that ideology plays a very important role beyond just gender. Now, I have a theory why all of this is happening, and it actually goes beyond just accepting reality. Christian faith provides something essential, and this is something that leftists lack: purpose. And I genuinely believe that purpose should be considered a basic human need alongside air, water, food, shelter, and social interaction. When you are genuinely acting in accordance with your faith, with a sense of duty to God, it is impossible not to have true integrity. And a man with integrity walks with unshakable confidence at his core. But here's the genius of Christianity that leftists miss. We know that we're not perfect. When we fail, we recognize it and we fix it. That's the whole point of asking God for forgiveness, that constant improvement. That's basic logic. It makes for a better life. And you can try to rationalize your evil actions, but deep down, you'll always know that what you're doing is wrong. It eats at you. And if you never recognize what you're doing is wrong consciously, well, then you're never going to fix it. You're stuck forever. And white leftists are particularly prone to mental health disorders compared to conservatives or moderates, according to Pew Research. This pattern goes back decades. In 2006, Pew found 47% of Republicans reported being very happy compared to just 28% of Democrats. That's before social media, before Trump, before any of the current excuses. And this is global. Conservatives are happier than liberals in 293 out of 376 country survey estimates that have been analyzed. Even in the most leftist countries, where leftists are generally happier, conservative individuals within those countries are still happier than their leftist neighbors. Religious adherence partially explains this. Left-wing Catholics score 61 on mental health. Conservative Catholics, though, 69. But even conservative atheists are happier than leftist atheists. Now, some academics try to claim that conservatives just report being happier, while leftists secretly display more happiness. Nice try. That contradicts hundreds of consistent studies. Here's another fascinating detail. The happiness gap is the widest among those who have some college education. Now think about what this suggests about the indoctrination in our universities. And the gap persists especially among childless individuals, while conservatives score 63 and leftists score 48. Conservatives don't just report being happier, we have happier families. We find more meaning in life. We donate more of our time and money to charity than leftists. We even donate blood more often. So much for the caring left. Rob Henderson's analysis confirmed it academically. Conservatism was positively related to life satisfaction, even after controlling for participants' age, gender, and family income level. Conservatives are indeed happier than liberals. Even social media use correlates with happiness for both groups. And this destroys the narrative that conservative echo chambers are uniquely harmful. The difference is not the platforms, it's the worldview. The Rabbit Hole perfectly captured this with their chart showing the dramatic life satisfaction gap. Look, leftists lack common sense. They reject reality in favor of fantasy. They're fighting battles that ended decades ago. They've abandoned purpose for victimhood. And so, because of all these things, they are absolutely miserable. The data is overwhelming. The pattern is consistent. The conclusion is inescapable. Want to be happy? Here's the formula. Be a conservative. Accept reality. Find an amazing spouse. Have beautiful children. Find purpose. Hit the gym. Take a walk in the great outdoors. Maintain your integrity and be a good Christian. It's that simple. All right, now, please go check out my new channel, Strange Tales. Again, I really want your feedback. The first episode is about the Great Emu War, and I promise that video is a lot of fun. Please subscribe to that new channel to give it a boost. Maybe share it with some friends, maybe some relatives. The link is in the description below. Again, you guys are awesome. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant, it's just they know so much that is not so. Good night.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.